If you're a human being and I hit you full power in the face, you're going over. And that goes for Ciryl Gane.
Tom not only has to beat Ciryl Gane, who's an absolute French nightmare, but he has to do it more convincingly than Jon Jones. He has to do it faster and more impressive. So whether it's a knockout right away or he takes him to the mat right away, you have to beat him in under 2 minutes and go.
Because that guy's not easy to get to the ground, and Aspinall, and he's fast as and he's big. He's a legit 250 pounds natural, you know, no, he doesn't need anything. There's no way he can make 205 ever.
Yeah, I got to train with him, and I went down there, and I was like, this guy, he's a tank.
But that's a problem.
Yeah.
That's a problem when you're not really a heavyweight. As great as Jon is, and I think Jon beats most heavyweights that have ever existed. That guy's a Francis is another problem.
UFC 321 is just a couple of days away, and the fans can't wait to witness a heavyweight clash after a long time. Tom Aspinall talked about this fight and dismissed the idea that he's overlooking Ciryl Gane amid talk of Alex Pereira and Jon Jones. He explains that while outside opinions may think he views Gane as an easy opponent, that's far from true. Aspinall emphasizes his high fight IQ and says he fully understands how skilled Gane is, making sure to treat the matchup with complete seriousness.
How hard has it been to stay away from the distractions and the outside opinions? You know what I mean? Because there's multiple people in multiple divisions that have opinions. Like we've heard Alex Pereira say that, you know, it might be a harder fight than Tom thinks it's going to be. There's a guy that's retired that's had an opinion. So how hard has it been just to like keep the blinders on and not focus on these guys?
You know, I think the notion that I think it's going to be an easy fight is just outside opinion, because I don't think it's going to be an easy fight at all. I think that Ciryl is really, really good. I really respect him. I really respect his team. I respect what he's done in his career, and I know how good he is. Like, I've got a good... See, I think people, they look at my style and they think, oh, he's just a big, strong, fast guy who's powerful. But I got a really high fight IQ. I know what I'm looking at. I know what's good and what isn't, and I know how good he is. And I've taken it very, very seriously.
Tom Aspinall also acknowledged that every fighter feels the weight of pressure before stepping into the cage, but he viewed it as something that fuels his performance. He respected Ciryl Gane's skills, yet felt Gane occasionally struggled with handling high-stakes moments, whereas Aspinall believed he delivered his best when the spotlight was brightest.
I asked you this question in Paris. For people that haven't seen the answer to it, are you feeling pressure on this one?
Mate, of course. Like, if you're getting in a fist fight in front of millions of people with somebody else, you should be feeling pressure. You should be feeling pressure. The difference is, I think that I do really, really well against pressure. I think that Ciryl is an extremely talented fighter. I think that sometimes the pressure gets a little bit too much for him. Gets too much for everybody at some stage. But I think that I'm one of the people who shine under pressure. Like
Tom Aspinall shared that top fighters balance pressure with calmness. They give their all but stay mentally relaxed once the cage door closes. He believed both he and Ciryl Gane were under serious pressure, especially since this could be Gane's final opportunity to claim the belt. Aspinall thought that the shared pressure only added to the excitement and intensity of their matchup.
Somebody told me recently that the elite fighters, it means everything to them, but they do it like it means nothing. And I think that that's the approach that I have really well, is like, this fight means absolutely everything, but I've got to go in there like I don't care about it and put on a great performance. And this is Cyryl's third title shot. And although there's a lot of pressure on me, I think there's also a lot of pressure on him, because if he doesn't win this one, he's probably not going to get a fourth. Do you know what I mean? So it's there's pressure on both of us, mate. There's a lot of pressure on me, there's a lot of pressure on him, and I think it's an exciting fight all around.
Brendan Schaub believes all the pressure is on Tom Aspinall heading into his fight with Ciryl Gane. He says Aspinall not only needs to win, but must do it faster and more impressively than Jon Jones did, since Gane is the only opponent they share. Schaub adds that to silence critics and prove he's the true heavyweight king, Aspinall has to finish Gane in under 2 minutes.
The marker here is win. Of course, dude, you're heavily favored. No. Of course you got to win. You have to do it more impressively than Jon Jones did, because this is the only opponent you guys have in common that now the public can go, okay, well, they did fight this guy. Jon beat him in, I think, 2 minutes. Choked him out in 2 minutes. Tom not only has to, imagine this pressure, Tom not only has to beat Ciryl Gane, who's an absolute French nightmare, but he has to do it more convincingly than Jon Jones. He has to do it faster and more impressive. So whether it's a knockout right away or he takes him to the mat right away, you have to beat him in under 2 minutes and go. Unfortunately, that's what Tom's dealing with. That's what Tom's dealing with. It sucks.
Michael Venom Page compared Tom Aspinall's rise to the kind of dominance Jon Jones once displayed, saying Aspinall brings a new level of skill and composure to the heavyweight division. He felt Ciryl Gane was smooth and technical, but didn't have the same explosiveness or grappling threat. Page predicted that even if the fight turned into a striking battle, Aspinall's precision and power would likely lead to a finish.
Tom Aspinall versus Ciryl Gane. I'm sorry, for me, I'm a fan of Ciryl Gane as well. I just feel like Tom Aspinall is the next generation of the same thing we saw the likes of Jon Jones doing in terms of the dominant fashion that he took over his division. I feel like the same thing is going to happen with Tom Aspinall. That style at heavyweight is unseen. Ciryl Gane has a little bit of a bounce in him as well. I just don't think he's got the same snap and power that Tom Aspinall has, as well as the ground game as well. Although you probably won't see it in this fight, I feel like he could get a knockout in this fight.
Joe Rogan also described Tom Aspinall as a rare kind of heavyweight who combines size with incredible athletic ability. He pointed out that even though Francis Ngannou might hit harder, Aspinall's agility and reflexes make him far more dynamic. Rogan believed that Aspinall's speed and timing set him apart from anyone else competing in the division.
Aspinall's a freak. Like, I've seen a lot of heavyweight, even Francis, who's like the greatest, scariest power striker I've ever seen in the heavyweight division. No one's scarier than Francis. Francis does not move like Tom Aspinall. Tom Aspinall is significantly faster than every other heavyweight. That's a real problem.
However, Ciryl Gane keeps his attention on training and improvement, avoiding anything that could pull him off track. He feels confident heading into the fight, trusting in his timing, footwork, and striking accuracy to secure the belt. Gane stays grounded by focusing on his close circle and personal goals instead of outside noise or online chatter.
I'm confident for this fight. I don't want to talk of the after the fight. I'm confident for this fight. I want this belt, and I do my best during the camp for that. But everybody knows my strength already. I can move very well, I can manage the distance very well. My striking is a high-level striking, and so I'm gonna manage this. I do this for me. Like the target is the belt, and I'm not focused on the social media, the people outside. I'm really focused on my family, my friend, my team, my goal, my target, and training. This is a different mindset.
On the other hand, Alex Pereira believes Ciryl Gane's smooth movement and unpredictable style can create early problems for Tom Aspinall. He thinks Gane's ability to stay elusive might interrupt Aspinall's rhythm and make him adapt to a more strategic and patient fight.
What do you think about Aspinall and Ciryl Gane? Like, who do you think he will win? And is the winner something that interests him?
Cara, ali é uma luta assim difícil, né? Mas o Tom Aspinall, campeão, vem mais confiante. Mas assim, eu vejo que ele lutou com atletas também assim, muito agressivo, entendeu? E ele tá levando a melhor ali, mas acho que o Ciryl Gane ele é um cara assim mais, que movimenta mais. É um cara que não gosta de se expor, entendeu? Um pouco ali de medo e tal. Então, quando você tem um certo medo, um receio, você acaba não tomando muitos golpes. Então, a gente vai ver. Vamos ver, porque de repente ele pode frustrar um pouco, né? O Tom Aspinall ali, de passa ali primeiro, segundo, terceiro round e vai levando pro final. A gente não sabe como que ele vai se comportar também.
It's a tough fight, you know. Tom is a complete fighter. But I do feel like he's fought a lot of aggressive guys. And I think Gane is a guy who's going to do a lot of movement. He's going to be a little more cautious and you know, just moving around a lot, and might frustrate Tom. You know, so first, second, third round, maybe Tom can't find Ciryl Gane. So I think it's going to be a different fight. We'll see.
Daniel Cormier talks about the long-awaited clash between Tom Aspinall and Ciryl Gane, saying it took far too long to come together. He points out that most fans expect Aspinall to dominate, but he sees the fight as far more competitive. Cormier believes Gane's skills make it a much closer matchup than many assume.
We finally got Tom Aspinall, Ciryl Gane. Chill, we've been screaming about this Tom Aspinall, Ciryl Gane for a long time. UFC 321, Tom minus 325, Gane plus 260. We finally got the fight. But the world doesn't seem to believe, Chael, that it's a close fight. And I don't really agree with that line. I think this fight is much closer. Tom Aspinall minus 325, Ciryl Gane plus 265.
Henry Cejudo sees Tom Aspinall's matchup with Ciryl Gane as a bold and important step. He notes that Gane's size, movement, and athleticism make him a much tougher challenge than Aspinall's past-op opponents. Cejudo believes the outcome will reveal how ready Aspinall truly is for the top level, and might also hint at whether Jon Jones intends to come back for another title run.
You give him the one contender, Ciryl Gane. Ciryl Gane is somebody that's a big heavyweight, that's very agile. I don't think Tom Aspinall gets rid of him right away like he has with other people. And I think that'll be a big indication if Jon Jones wants to come back and reclaim that bout once again.
Kamaru Usman believes Ciryl Gane doesn't get enough credit for how well-rounded he is, praising his smooth movement and ability to strike effectively from all angles. However, he also sees Tom Aspinall as a rare mix of speed, precision, and power that's difficult to bet against. Usman expects their fight to be a true display of elite heavyweight skill.
Ciryl Gane is, people forget how fantastic he is. A guy that can kind of float around the octagon, touch you, kick you, hit you with elbow. He's just a complete game. But man, Tom's movement, his boxing, speed, and his power, it's very, very difficult to doubt this man anymore.
Michael Bisping agrees that Tom Aspinall has proven himself by stopping some of the division's toughest names like Curtis Blades, Sergey Pavlovich, and Alexander Volkov. He believes Ciryl Gane stands out as a different kind of test, combining athleticism, agility, and fight IQ that few heavyweights possess. Bisping compares their styles to Georges St-Pierre's balance of precision and control, though he points out that Gane's struggles on the ground could once again be a key factor against a well-rounded fighter like Aspinall.
Now, when you look at the UFC heavyweight rankings, as I say, Tom has beat most of them, and he's beat them in style, and he's knocked them all out. Curtis Blades, Sergey Pavlovich, Alexander Volkov, whoever they are, he's beaten them all up. But Ciryl Gane is a little bit different. Now, of course, Jon Jones beat Ciryl Gane in quick fashion, took him down in the first round, submitted him with a front choke. But Ciryl Gane is the same as Tom Aspinall in terms of athletic ability. When I say that Tom Aspinall is a heavyweight Georges St-Pierre, that kind of goes to Ciryl Gane as well. The man's gigantic. He's very quick. He's agile. He's light on his feet. He could run any sport on the planet. And he's almost like Georges St-Pierre and Tom Aspinall in the fact that he's got all those athletic attributes and qualities, but he doesn't have the grappling. That's what cost him against Jon Jones, and that's probably what's going to cost him against Tom Aspinall. You never know. He could clip him. This is a dangerous fight. This is heavyweight MMA.
Bisping pointed out that Tom Aspinall's lifelong grappling background, built through years of training with his father, could end up making the difference in this fight. He admitted that Ciryl Gane's striking remains a serious threat and that anything can happen in a heavyweight bout, but he still favors Aspinall to win. Bisping also mentioned that Jon Jones is likely keeping a close eye on the outcome, ready to comment if Aspinall fails to deliver the same level of dominance Jones once displayed against Gane.
But Tom Aspinall can grapple. We've seen him take people down. He's done jiu-jitsu since he was about 15 years old. His dad is going to be on his case, and that's an absolute fact, saying, hey, you're not messing with this guy. Take him down, show him what you can do, show the world your grappling capability. Remember, Ciryl Gane turned Francis Ngannou into a wrestler, okay? So he's a very, very credible threat on the feet. But of course, I do fancy Tom Aspinall to get the job done. The fact that he isn't fighting Jon Jones is insane, but we've talked about that till the cows come home, so I'm not going to bore you on that subject anymore. But just you wait. Jon Jones is probably going to pop up on Twitter. If he doesn't beat Ciryl Gane as fast as what Jon did, guaranteed we're going to get some tweets.
Ian Gary predicts that the Tom Aspinall versus Ciryl Gane fight could end in the first round. He praises Aspinall as one of the best heavyweights in UFC history and believes that even if the win comes quickly, what truly matters is Aspinall claiming the belt and proving himself as the best in the division.
I don't see that fight getting out of the first round. Right. I think Tom is phenomenal. I think he's absolutely the best heavyweight we've ever seen in the UFC. I said to him, it sucks to win the belt that way, to be the champion this way, that no one's going to remember that in 3 fights' time. They're just going to remember what you've done and that you are the champion of the world and you're the best in the division, and that's it.
Benoit Saint-Denis shows full faith in Ciryl Gane, convinced that this is the moment France finally gets its first UFC champion. He shares that he has trained and interacted with Gane more closely this year, giving him first-hand confidence in Gane's focus, improvements, and readiness for the challenge against Tom Aspinall.
How do you think he does against Tom?
To be honest, I think we are gonna finally have our first French UFC champion. I think Ciryl, I've been talking with him. I have been taking more time with him this year than the past years, talking and training and yeah.
Benoit Saint-Denis expresses complete trust in Ciryl Gane's mindset and preparation, saying his calm focus and dedication show how badly he wants the title. He praises Gane's athletic ability, calling him one of the most refined heavyweights in the division. Saint-Denis predicts a strategic, skillful fight, but believes Gane's patience, conditioning, and experience over 5 rounds will allow him to outlast Tom Aspinall and take the win.
I think he's ready, and I think he has this fire inside him of wanting to become champion, working hard since a long time. He's not talking a lot this past month, but he has been doing a real good job, and he has been working hard, and I do believe he's an exceptional athlete, even for the heavyweight division. And on 5 rounds, I do believe he's gonna beat Tom Aspinall, and I cannot wait to see it, because of course it's gonna be tactical and very high level stuff, but I do believe Ciryl can do it, and he will.
MMA Guru is thrilled about the fight and confidently expects Tom Aspinall to end it early with a first-round knockout. He argues that since Tai Tuivasa managed to hurt Ciryl Gane despite being outmatched, Aspinall's sharper technique and higher speed should allow him to capitalize even faster and close the show in dominant fashion.
So maybe the UFC is really back. But Aspinall versus Gane, scary matchup. I think Aspinall's going to win by KO in the first round. If Tai Tuivasa can ever drop you on your ass in an MMA fight after you've beaten him up for the whole first round, if he can find a way to find your chin in that second round and drop you at any point in your career, I think Aspinall will find it in the first round, and I do think we'll see a first round Tom Aspinall KO.
MMA Guru suggests that if Ciryl Gane pulls off the victory, it could surprise a lot of people and even shift fan loyalty, particularly among those who usually support Jon Jones. Despite that possibility, he continues to back Tom Aspinall, explaining that Gane's elite striking doesn't fully cover the gaps in his ground game, which a complete fighter like Aspinall could easily expose.
You know, if Ciryl Gane wins, my life will crumble before my very eyes. You understand this, right? We can't have Ciryl Gane win. There's gonna be a conglomerate of MMA fans that are suspiciously pro Gane here for no reason whatsoever. Okay? Now, these may be considered former Jon Jones fans that now have nowhere to go because Jones retired, that will now pretend to be Ciryl Gane fans and pretend to want Ciryl Gane to win for the good of the sport. I just think he's way better. Tom Aspinall's the correct prediction. It is a very risky matchup. Ciryl Gane is very, very technical. Ciryl Gane is harder to hit than any former opponent of Tom Aspinall. I just think his grappling is a weakness, and he'll be thinking about that in a fight with Tom. And while you're thinking about that, you've also got to think about being knocked out with any punch you get hit with. So it's just a lot for Gane to worry about.
Matt Brown believes the stakes are higher for Tom Aspinall than for Ciryl Gane, given the division's current uncertainty and Aspinall's potential to define its future. He thinks a loss to Gane could set the heavyweight picture back, while a win would establish Aspinall as the clear standout of the era. Brown also points out that every small detail in Aspinall's performance could influence how fans and analysts view both his legacy and the strength of the division itself.
It's almost an unfair comparison, right? When we talk about pressure versus pressure, everybody's under tremendous pressure. But I guess when you kind of look at it from not just pressure, but potential legacy and career and what's on the line, I think it's hard to not go with Tom Aspinall because the heavyweight division is on the line. If Gane goes in and beats him, no disrespect to Gane, love the guy, the heavyweight division loses a lot of respect. Even if Tom goes out there and it's a close fight, or he gets dropped and then has to come back or something, like, the heavyweight division has so little respect right now, probably deservedly so, I think. You know, with Gane getting his 3rd title shot in a couple years, like, Tom has to show that he is the heavyweight division. You know, he has to prove that to the world. Like, I am, the heavyweight division's not just, but like, I'm so good at the heavyweight division, right? This is kind of his thing that he has to go out there and prove to the world.
Now, Matt Brown believes the result of this fight could determine the next major storyline in the heavyweight division, potentially setting up a showdown between Tom Aspinall and Jon Jones. He thinks Jones will be watching closely to study Aspinall's performance and any flaws that appear. Brown views the matchup as a defining moment for Aspinall, especially at a time when the division is trying to regain its prestige.
If he goes out there and loses to Gane, you know, the division already is not respected. That brings Tom down significantly, I think, right? And of course, you know, the potential Jon Jones fight, which is whatever, who knows, right? Like how he beats Gane, assuming he does, may play a factor too. Like if it turns out to be a close fight, again, John's going to be on his phone with Twitter open watching this fight, like just waiting for Tom to get dropped, get leg kicked and limping a little bit, or, you know what I mean? John can't wait for that moment.
That's it for today's video. So what are your thoughts on this? What do you think about the matchup? Share your thoughts in the comment section and make sure to subscribe and like if you enjoyed the video.